My story starts out with a lot of sadness. At the age of 19, I found myself pregnant, afraid, and not knowing what to do next. Terminating the pregnancy, that was never an option for me. So I moved from Miami all the way to LA and made a decision to place my baby for adoption. While I felt, because of my circumstances, that I didn't have any other option, it didn't mean this was an easy thing to do. And all throughout the months of the pregnancy, I struggled with whether I was making the right decision. I kept coming back to the place that I really didn't have any choice. So I met with a doctor, asked him if he could handle an adoption, and he said yes. When the baby was born, in those days, all your babies were in the nursery, and I was in the hospital 3 days, and I could hear the babies crying down in the nursery, and I knew my baby was there. I never held her, I never touched her, I never named her, because I thought, if you ever put that baby in my arms, you'll never get her out of there. I placed her for adoption. I left that hospital in 3 months. I moved back to Florida. And 40 years went by. And of course, I thought of her. I prayed for her. I had a daughter-in-law that just kept nagging me about finding my daughter. Dorothy said, "Mom, we want to meet our half-sister. Don't you want to find her?" And I was petrified to do this, because I had imagined in my head all these years that she was gonna say to me, "How could you give up your own child?" And I wouldn't have any answer. How do you answer that question? By the way, that never happened. I believed that lie for 40 years, and she never asked me that question. But through some searching on the internet, I didn't even know what I was doing or how to do this. I started looking, and in 3 months, I found Dory. And the day that she flew into Fort Myers Airport, there were 17 members of my family carrying signs with the little blue Dory fish on them that said "Finding Dory," waving them in the airport as she came down the walkway. And our lives changed so radically. All those years of sadness and wondering what had happened to her, it was all over. My own 4 children received Dory like she'd just grown up in the family, and within days they were arguing about who cooks the best black beans, and it was just like she was always there. We had 10 fabulous years together, and then Dory was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and she died 2 years ago. She died on her birthday, February 11th, and I stood by her bed those moments when she had passed, and I just said, "Lord, what a miracle that you of course let me be there the day she was born, but this is you, that you would let me be here on the day that she died, and that she would die on her birthday," which it seemed like she had come full circle, even though we weren't ready for her to go. And there's many people watching this video today in this congregation who have lost children over the last couple of years. Many of you are my friends, and it's hard to make peace with that. But I felt like that was her time, because she died on her birthday. There must have been about 15 of us, and we were in the living room, and we were sitting around. Everybody was pretty somber. Dory was still in the bedroom, and my granddaughter Carlin said to me, "Graham, do you know that if you hadn't done what you did, none of us would be sitting here today?" And Dory herself said, if my adoptive parents were still alive, they would want to meet you and they would want to thank you. So I know that it's a very, very hard thing today to make a decision to go through with a pregnancy and then give your baby up. It's probably one of the hardest things anybody could ever be asked to do. But I want to say that sometimes circumstances are there that you can't raise that child. And what a gift for you to be able to make that choice to go through. It's the most sacrificial thing I think anyone could be asked to do. I just would encourage anybody out there who is thinking of that, is pregnant and doesn't know what to do, that make that a consideration before you make any other kind of a negative choice. Thank you.